Recording. Is it recording? Okay, here we go. All right, sweet. All right, everybody. Well, no one's here yet. Everyone, welcome to the Gru Room. And we got very special guest today, Mr. C.J. Graham, who, in my opinion, is the best Jason ever. Like, my
Yeah, yeah. Rocky, you say that to all the guys you talk to in an interview that played Jason.
no, no, I don't.
Come on,
Actually,
buddy.
Jason Lives is actually like my favorite Jason movie like ever.
Thank
There,
you.
yeah, like the way you the way you act as Jason. Like, I mean, Kane's good too, but like, no, for me, no other person played Jason the way you did.
Thanks, buddy. You know what? I was very fortunate. I got selected, and here we are 3 decades later talking about it. So I'm very humble about it. But thank you very much.
Yeah, it's no problem. I I wanted I heard heard you talking about this a lot. Like, you you came in Jason Lives when there was already another Jason. Like, you came in while they were still filming it, right?
Actually, yeah, there's one scene in the film that I would never take credit for. It's the paintball being hit to the midsection, and that gentleman is the man that was selected over me as two reasons. Number one, he was a stunt man, and number two, he had done some acting. Unfortunately for him, um, that scene was what's called a daily. The first daily that came back, it just appeared Paramount wasn't satisfied, or Tom McLaughlin, with the character representation. It's kind of a natural movement for me. So I get a call on a Friday, and Tuesday I'm down in Covington, Georgia, picking up. We did not remove that one scene because it's a complicated scene. And most people just say, "Hey, CJ, he's wearing padding because of the red, paint being hit on his stomach." It just
Yeah.
the guy was a little thicker than me, and with all due respect, has been very successful in his career as a stuntman, stunt coordinator, a producer, a director. So I don't think he cares one way or the other. But that one scene remained, and then everything from that point on became me, and the rest is history. That's why I'm very humble.
Oh, wow. Now, did you and Tom talk about how you were gonna be Jason? Like, because you definitely put your own little twist on Jason. But
Yeah, Tom McLaughlin, who I did do the interview with originally, and I went with a gentleman named Michael Nomad, who's a stunt coordinator, who felt comfortable that I could do the stunts. And then, of course, we went over to Paramount Studios and spoke with Frank Mancuso Jr. So we were at Frank Mancuso Jr.'s office for the initial interview. Then, not being selected, I was back in to head back out, so to speak. The whole thing is Tom kind of explained to me what he was looking for. When I got on set, we just had a quick meeting, and Tom had, he's a brilliant director, writer. He already knows what he wants, but he's going to let you add personalization to the character because he's just that type of director. He's very secure with his writing and directing. So he allows his actors and actresses and stunt people to kind of step out a little bit within reason. But he was really clear. He was an old Universal horror fan like me. We're both
yeah,
old. And, we both kind of looked at each other. He really wanted a kind of a Frankenstein effect, but not dumb. But the brain cells were being connected as connectivity started, because you got to remember, Frankenstein was brought back to life with lightning
yeah,
as
exact. Oh,
Jason,
yeah, and
and
Jason
now
was.
he
Oh,
was,
yeah.
you couldn't stop him. But he was always thinking. You could tell he was curious about things and connecting the brain cells as he went forward in the movie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, never thought of it like that. That's awesome. Like, was there anything that you didn't want Jason to do that Tom wanted you to do, or was everything smooth?
Everything was perfect. Tom had his vision of what he expected, and Frank Mancuso Jr. didn't mind a little bit of comedy per Tom
Hmm.
McLaughlin, but he also told Tom, "But I don't want you to make fun of Jason. Jason's a serious character, but
Well,
you can
yeah.
have some fun with the other characters," which he did. Tom McLaughlin put a very nice, humid twist on some of the characters. I mean, the old grave takers, some people have a strange sense, idea of entertainment. Well, he was talking to you sitting in the audience watching
Yeah,
the
that's
movie,
true.
and you may or may not realize, but he was talking to every single one of the millions of people that have watched that movie. He's talking to
Hmm.
you directly.
Yeah, he was funny. I liked him.
Yeah, and then you look at it from a perspective, Tom McLaughlin, the characters that he put together. He also, had some interpretation where he wanted to put Elias Voorhees possibly in it, which is Jason's father,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
never came to fruition. But the nice thing about it is we entered it, 20 feet underwater in an Olympic-sized diving pool, and Jason's eye pops open, and everybody's like, "Oh, it ain't over."
Now you did all your own stunts, right? Like all the stunts you see Jason do in the film are you.
Correct. And until, I think a lot of people didn't realize that till a few years ago when I was on a panel with a good friend of mine, Kane Hodder and Steve Dash. And we were just talking. Everybody was asking about their background in stunts. When it was my turn, well, I didn't have a background. And Kane goes, "What do you mean you didn't have a background?" I go, "I've never done a stunt in my life." He goes, "You didn't go to school?" No. Wait a minute, wait a minute. The first time on set, when they were doing those things, that was the first time you ever did those? I go, "Yeah." Hold CJ, Jesus. Then everybody was a little more like, wow, that is pretty cool because it isn't for everybody, to be fair. It's not like you can just step off and do these things. But I had a stunt coordinator, Michael Nomad, who would
Okay.
walk me through what I would feel when I was on fire, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
And, in doing so, I was pretty confident. I was in my 20s. I had a
Yeah.
BA, that attitude. So I hadn't been out of the military too long. And I was bad attitude. I can do this.
Nice. Now, did any of the scenes like I mean, because you did a lot of scenes like a lot of stunts like and especially with fire and stuff. Did any scene like any stunts burn you or you get hurt doing any stunts?
No, I'm very fortunate. I do not recall getting hurt on any of those stunts. I mean, luck is involved in a lot of things. I was very
Mhm.
lucky to get the job. I'm very lucky to be here having this conversation with you 34 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of it's skill, some of it's talent, but there's always luck. No, and I think more importantly, Rocky, is that none of the actors or actresses that I worked with got hurt.
Oh,
They
good.
were allowed me to be very physical with them in controlling them in different things that we did, and nobody got hurt ever. And that would make me feel good because I knew that I did my job well at the time. And you think about it, Tommy Jarvis and I, who's
Hmm.
Tom Matthews,
Yeah.
Tommy Jarvis, who was underwater with me. I mean, Tom Matthews is not a stuntman, but he was 20 feet underwater with me, and I was holding on to his neck and collar while we were holding our breath doing a fight scene.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
the only difference is when we would signal, which is a signal to the chest for the safety divers to swim in and give us oxygen, is I would let go of him. He could go to the surface if he wanted to. I was physically chained down. I wasn't going anywhere. And then he'd come back down on a regulator and we'd take our regulators out and we'd start the fight scene again. So kudos to Tom Matthews for that. Maybe a couple scenes we used, Michael Nomad, but for the most part, he did probably 90, 95% of his own stuff in that scene, which how impressive.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
young lady,
Wow.
Darcy, she allowed me to physically take her head and throw it into a camera lens and stop 3, 4 inches or as close as I could get to the lens
Damn.
without hurting her. Kudos, no different than, Tom Finley. He allowed me to take a real knife and thrust it towards his head and then stop. And then they go to a reverse fake knife. So, but everything up to that point is actual. So you have to look at the people. Number one, they had bad attitudes too, probably.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they didn't think anything could hurt them. But I think it was a combination of confidence in each one of our abilities. The nice thing is that, fortunately, none of us got hurt, myself included, doing all the
Hmm.
stunts. And every time I went down, I got back up.
Well, yeah, it's perfect. That's how Jason does when he gets knocked down, sits back up.
Right.
Wow, I didn't know like Tom Matthews like actually did like his own stunts, like
See,
fighting
you
Jason
didn't
in the
realize how
water.
great this interview is going to be. This is going to
Yes,
be one of your best.
exactly. Yeah. Now one scene that I I I liked in that, it showed like how Jason doesn't like really go after kids. That little girl, the blonde girl, like she's the one that kept seeing Jason, and then Jason finally gets into the room with her, and all he does is looks down at her and then leaves. So like
Now,
I
you're not old enough, but if you go back to Universal, Frankenstein alongside the river,
hmm
and the little girl offers him a daisy and he looks at it, there's a
yeah.
resemblance there going back to Tom McLaughlin, his creativity. Uh, True story, that little girl is now in her 40s.
Wow.
That little girl, a couple weeks back, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, contacted Tom McLaughlin that her 6-year-old son wanted a hockey mask, but he didn't want a cheap one from Target. Tom reached out to me because I do have some replicas that are Top Gun, the way they look.
Nice,
And I
nice.
sent one to Tom just because and signed it. Tom signed it and sent it back to her to give to her 6-year-old son. So I want you to think about
Oh,
that. That little girl
wow.
has a 6-year-old son that wants a hockey
That's
mask.
crazy. Wow. Damn. Yeah, you would. I mean, because like you're watching the movies and you see the little girl.
Well, you think about it, it's 3 generations.
Exactly.
Bang.
Exactly.
So I'm, again, humble.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow. That little girl is 40s, is in her 40s now. Damn. One my one of my best rockers is Alice Cooper, and you actually did the music video, The Man Behind the Mask. And I wanted to ask, like, how was that like working with Alice? And I love the stills, like with you choking Alice and you and Alice standing side by side with each other, and plus the song is classic, like my favorite horror song.
Yeah, in fact, I have a 11 by 14 here on the wall that me and Allison wardrobe that we both signed. And Alice, I see Alice maybe once a year,
Nice.
uh, maybe twice here and there. So I think it was about a year ago before everything went south. We did a convention, and I'll put the wardrobe on, and
hmm
Alice Cooper and myself do pictures with the fans. It's
Oh
pretty
my God,
amazing.
that's so awesome.
A lot of things that people don't realize, and I appreciate you liking part six, but there are some benefits of part six. The opening is James Bond type.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Jason comes back to life like Frankenstein with electricity. That's kind of cool. Of course, you've got a
Really
rock and roll Hall of Famer doing the music, Alice
is.
Cooper.
Yeah.
And I'm the only Jason that gets to wear a Batman utility belt. So think about it.
That's right, you do. Jason does wear the utility belt in six. Yeah.
So, I got it covered by all avenues.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Alice has always been like one of my top guys. Like I probably seen Alice Cooper in concert about 12 times, or probably even more than that. And I actually got a chance to meet Alice. Like it was the day after his show, and I was in a re record store at the time when they were actually record stores yet. And I was looking through the tapes, and I was there with one of my friends, and my friend asked me what album Cold Ethel was on, and I forgot to look at the tapes, and Alice Cooper was standing behind us, and he said it's on Welcome to my nightmare. And me and my friend turn around and just start like freaking out because Alice Cooper was standing behind us.
Yeah, I will tell you the nice thing about it is he's a very great, humble man. Now,
hmm
true story, my very, very, very first concert in 1972 or 73, I was 16, was Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare.
Nice, nice. Yes, his stage show is perfect because I'm a huge horror fan. Of course, I run a horror site, But like his stage show is a mix of horror and rock, and like he was the first. Everyone else came after him, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. My first concert I ever went to in Seattle, Washington. I still remember, the show, my date, all the above, and then to be working with him in '86, and then now see
Right?
him. Here we are in 2019. I saw him last. I didn't see him this year in 2020, but I'm sure I'll see him
Yeah,
next year in 2021.
nice, nice. And out of all the scenes in Jason Lives, like what scene do you like best involving, of course,
Well,
you as Jason?
yeah, I think the scenes I like best are the ones I'm in. But I'm real happy with just the overall performance. Not having any skill set
Mm-hmm.
to be a stuntman or an actor. And here we are, 2020, having this conversation. That says a lot there. But more importantly, it tells you of the legion of fans that are out there.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely,
worldwide
definitely,
fans.
definitely. And my favorite kill in that film is the sheriff when you just squeeze the sheriff to death. How,
Yeah, and that's mine too. And I'll tell you why. That's my most favorite Rocky because there's no blood, there's no gore. It's
hmm.
sheer, pure power.
Oh my God, what he does to him. Yeah. Yeah, that definitely is the best kill in that film. And like
And
like what
then my
oh sorry.
friend Kane Hodder, he'll tell you the same thing. Kane will tell you his favorite kill is a sleeping bag. Same concept, power, force, no blood, no guts, just breaking bones.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. And did you did you want to come back for for part part seven? Like why did they get Kane to be Jason in
Well, I
seven instead of
I
you?
was actually slotted to do part seven. Kane Hodder will
Hmm.
tell you the same thing. Paramount Studios did say let's just bring CJ back. The format was good. The formula was good. Kane, who's a horror fan from way back when, knew John, the director, so he had to go to John to have a dialogue. John then had to go to Paramount Studios to Frank Mancuso Jr. to say he wanted to use Kane because he had worked with Kane before.
Okay.
He felt Kane is who he'd like to use. So they made that change before we started shooting. But Kane has went on record telling people that I was originally slotted. They were satisfied. And then Freddie versus Jason.
Hmm.
I had some people talk to me about the interest. I was a chief operating officer, general manager of a casino resort. It's not
Okay.
like I was going to leave my job of 500 million in revenues, 100 million in payroll, and 2,500 employees
Yeah,
to
that's
go shoot a
true.
quick movie for minimal money, and then be unemployed. So that was no choice or no
Yeah.
option there. I said thank you, but no, I'll pass. And the rest is history. So we're sitting now, 2009. Derek did it. Derek Mears.
Hmm. Hmm.
Been 10 years, and we're just kind of waiting now to see where the differences of opinion between Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Miller go,
Yeah,
so they
I
can get
know
out there
exactly.
and shoot one. And just I always try to tell everybody, don't. I hope we don't forget that the fans made us as great as we are.
Oh,
If the
yeah.
fans didn't care about Friday the 13th, Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Miller would have nothing to argue about.
Right,
So
exactly.
try not
Exactly.
to forget the people that gave you why you're arguing a lot of money,
I
and
know.
try to compromise or come to an understanding, at least
Hmm.
temporarily, to
Hmm.
make sure you don't, lose your fan base, because it
Yeah.
is, hundreds of millions of people that are fans, and I'm not exaggerating. Um,
Oh no, there's the horror fans are like crazed. Like they love if they're a fan of Jason, they'll come out to every every horror con, whatever Jason is there, like Freddy the same way, and Michael, all the different actors that played Michael, and like horror fans are very loyal.
right, and I will tell you, when I say 100 million, I'm not exaggerating, because there are quote unquote horror fans. You're a horror
Hmm.
fan.
Oh,
But if I
definitely.
went to the bank right now and the teller said, "Did you play Jason?" And you say, "Yeah, I think I played Jason." Oh my God. They love horror. They may not go to a horror convention,
Yeah.
but you know what? They've all seen Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah.
I always use an example, Rocky. There's 1.3 billion people in India. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take a picture over there of Tom Cruise, everybody's going to say, "Hey, Tom Cruise." If I take a picture of C.J. Graham, they're going to go. However, if I say Friday the 13th, they'll all say Hockey Mask Jason.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
do
yeah.
know Jason. They do know the hockey mask. And if they can put two and two together, the popularity is just as much. But they all know Jason. They may
Oh,
not
of
know C.J.
course.
Graham, but Friday the 13th, Jason, it's on target.
Yeah, definitely. That's uh, like you recently start doing like last year and all you recently start doing dressing up as Jason at horror cons. But and I love that Jason thing you got in the background, the
That's my alter
big
ego.
figure. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, I actually suited up for the first time about 3.5 years ago.
Hmm.
And I retired 3.5 years ago from running casino resorts. So it gave me the
Oh, okay.
opportunity to do conventions more regularly. Uh, you know, I hadn't done them as often because, again, general manager of two casinos, three
Hmm.
casinos. Uh, I've got a responsibility, and I can't be at a convention and somebody's trying to call me because another player wants a $500,000 or more in credit.
Yeah,
Hold
exactly.
on, autograph real quick. So two and two just didn't work. It wasn't equaling four. So I kind of stayed away from it. I did do one or two a year for the last maybe 8, 9 years, 10 years, but never like, 2 years ago I did six and then eight. And this year I had 12 scheduled if the year hadn't went south. But I'm not going to worry about the conventions at that point because, 250,000 people in America died. So,
Yeah, I know.
you know what? I'm okay. I wish I could have done the conventions for the fans, but unfortunately, I wish we could just get this virus handled and get these people
Oh,
back in the
it's
streets.
horrible. I know exactly. It's horrible. So many lives lost and everyone losing their jobs. It's ugh.
So, but yeah, my Jason behind me, and then of course to my right shoulder, you'll see my when I was in the military and my
Okay.
uniform when I got out of the military as a
Nice.
sergeant.
Yeah, I see that.
Front 11 Bravo. So I have a few things on my walls around me, and uh, I got one of the original hockey masks in here, shadow
Sweet.
boxed.
Nice. Nice.
So, and then of course, all my other things that I've got, just from time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And you actually, I think it was last year, right? You did Jason fan film where you played the father of Jason.
Correct. I was asked to do a fan film, and I thought, well, the nice thing is I still have a union card for
Mm-hmm.
SAG, Screen Actors Guild.
Mm-hmm.
And the nicer thing is I can do projects that may not pay heavily because it's fun for me. It's just side spend. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
so, myself and Steve Dash and Tom McLaughlin decided we'd go into the film. Myself and Steve Dash, we just told them give our wages to a charity, which they
Oh,
did,
nice.
because we both were doing it for fun. But I got an opportunity to play Elias Voorhees,
Yeah.
opposite of Jason Brooks, who played Jason. I grew my beard for four
I know.
months. I
I
looked like a
saw
Viking when they were done with
you
me.
did. I
I've got
didn't
Norwegian,
recognize you.
as you can tell. Yeah, you can tell. Uh, got that Norman background. So for me, I look like a Viking basically in a leather jacket and same size as the guy that played Jason. So we square off, and it's been actually very successful for them. They've actually started writing and hope to do another one next year called Bloodline,
Nice.
where they really want to capitalize a little more on Elias, where
Nice.
I think it's
Nice.
half and half of the film because they want to just kind of go back to the camp, but now you got
Hmm.
two killers.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's so awesome. I mean, besides that, is there anything else you're working on that's coming out?
Well, this year put everything down, but in January, I was fortunate enough to finish my part with 13 Fanboy.
Oh, I
Uh,
heard of that film.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you know Dee Wallace. She has the
Hmm.
lead.
Mm-hmm.
Kane Hodder's in it. Lar Park Lincoln. I mean, it's got,
Oh,
Deborah
nice.
Voorhees is in it. Corey Feldman.
Okay.
So it was finished up and wrapped in February before everything. I know that Deborah and everybody has it ready to go as far as the distribution, where they're going to go for the distribution. That's something that'll be decided by them, of course, Netflix or however they decide.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to get that wrapped before. This year has been, like I said, it's unfortunate what's going on. So I don't feel bad. I did get to do that. I've got to go to Sweden in
Wow.
February and do a convention prior to everything being shut down. So right now, if things relax in the next 60 days plus,
Mm-hmm.
the next convention that tentatively I'm going to attend will be Days of the Dead in
Oh, yeah,
Atlanta,
that's a good
Georgia,
one. Yeah.
in the end of February. And the nice thing about that is Atlanta, Georgia is only about 30 miles from Covington, Georgia, where we shot the movie for Friday the 13th, Part 6.
Oh, that's so awesome. Now, are you going to visit the area?
I have not been there, so I got a feeling this time I'm going to go out there. I'll be doing a wardrobe photo op at Days of the
Nice.
Dead, which is the first place I did it 3.5 years ago. So I think I should make a road trip out there
Yeah,
and see if
definitely.
I can get some photos of the campsite with me and wardrobe.
I know
Um,
exactly. That'd
and
be
I'd really like
awesome.
to see if some of the rangers, the Forest Service people, who
Yeah.
are very, very positive, I'm told, when people come out to look at the campsite, would like allow me to get some photos with them in wardrobe.
That would be so awesome. Fans will love it. They would love it. Like that would be really awesome.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. Is there anything else you want to push or talk
Well,
about? Or...
Rocky, I'll tell you, if anybody's looking for any memorabilia, I do have a
Mhm.
website, jason6.com, jasonvi, Roman numeral.com.
Okay.
Just look up CJ Graham, and somewhere in the first 5 or 10, you're going to see Jason Voorhees store. That's me.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
I just got an order today. Somebody wants a fire scene picture and a machete that I'm going to get out to them tomorrow. So if the fans are interested, because we're so limited on, and in some cases, the fans can't travel hundreds of miles to go to a show. It's
Mm-hmm.
expensive. Spend the
Yeah,
night
it
in a
is.
hotel, uh, if they'd like to look at the website, they can find out what I'm going to be doing, but they can also see some different photographs that can be personally autographed and mailed to them. And we'll see if they enjoy them. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be going to the mailbox with an 8x10 and a machete to mail out to somebody in I believe it's South Carolina.
Okay. Well, they're they're gonna be very happy with that.
And it's interesting. I'll be honest with you. Again, I'm very humbly appreciative that we're even having this conversation. So I appreciate the fans. They are very, very loyal. I'm very blessed that, again, Part 6 is well received by the fan
Oh,
base.
definitely.
It's unfortunate. We've lost a couple Jasons over the years. About five
Yeah.
and a half years ago, we lost Richard. About 2 years ago, we lost Steve Dash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Ted White, he's 94. That man's strong as an
Oh,
ox, but I'm sorry, you can't live forever. And Ted White is a great man because this man worked with people like Cary Grant and John Wayne,
yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's done over 100 movies as a actor stuntman, and everybody knows him because he put a hockey mask on in Part 4 and didn't
Exactly.
even want credits in the movie.
Wow.
You won't find his name on the movie anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that gives you a little genre about everybody. Kane Hodder, yeah, he's been a great ambassador doing 4 of them. He's been out there. Gosh, Kane's out there every weekend if you let him. He's
Yeah,
selling
I
the
know.
product. And Derek Mears, who did the last one, did a great job.
Hmm.
He's had a very long career thus far. He's still acting, doing his improv. He got married a couple of years ago.
Oh,
So he's a
nice.
happy camper too. So
Yeah.
everybody's just enjoying the camaraderie between the Jasons is good. Ken lives up in Vancouver, BC. And you look around, Ted is still in LA. Kane is between Utah and LA, and Ari, last I heard, was in Chicago, to give you an idea.
Okay.
So it just kind of, you kind of see everybody around the loop, and it's nice when you see them because you appreciate their work because you're part of that. There's only 9 of us technically that have played
Mhm.
Jason.
Mhm.
We've lost 2, so there's 7 of us left. To be one of 9 people in the world of a popularity of a movie like Friday the 13th, it's it's special. We didn't
Yeah,
realize how
definitely.
special it would be 35 years ago, but it's very special and it's very humbling when somebody finds out you played Jason and they're just like, and you're like, I wore a hockey mask. But here, Rocky, here's something for your fans out there in your base. It's interesting. Back in those days, nobody wanted to wear a mask because
Yeah.
I want them to see my face because I'm purty, right? Right? I'm purty. Well,
Exactly.
let's think about this. Let's go forward 3 decades. Arrow wears a mask. Batman wears a
Mhm.
mask. Superman wears a mask. All the comic wears a mask. The DCs wear a mask.
Yep.
Isn't it interesting how the people that are out there are in mask or full-pledged
Oh,
costumes,
I know. I know.
compared to what we did back in the 80s, which was like, he wore a hockey mask. So you just don't know. You do the best you can and you hope for the best. And in this case, good karma, I'm hoping, has come back and it's been a pleasure.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for joining. I I was really happy you agreed to do this interview.
I try to do them. There's 10, 15 a month, and you have to realize that's 20 hours,
Hmm.
of combing your hair, brushing your teeth, whatever. And it's just not easy to sit down and do. So I try to do 5, 8 every month.
Okay.
Some people make it. Then I always try to make sure people know I'm in Montana.
Yeah, yeah.
I do have one here and there that can't get the time frame right. So they miss it or misconstrue it. I always send that email saying, hey, just a reminder, I'm
Make
in
sure.
Montana time.
Yeah.
You do the math on your side because I don't know where you're at. I missed an interview yesterday with a guy from London. He just
Oh, wow.
couldn't get the time frame, and I sent it to him because I just looked it up. What time is
Yeah,
it in
yeah.
London, right? And it tells you. So he tried sending an email link, and unfortunately, it
Hmm.
wasn't able to come through for whatever reason. So I told him, let's try next month because I've got one tomorrow night and one
Wow.
next week, and then I'd like to by the 15th of the month I try to lock it down until the next month.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I do the
definitely.
best I can. I can't say no, but I it is it's a pleasure, and I always anybody's doing any type of podcast or
Hmm.
interviews. I wouldn't be here without you. So I'm trying to give it back to say, hey, if this enhances your subscriptions, great. For me, it's just a nice, plausible way to say thank you.
Oh, thanks. All right. Thank you so much again.
All right, guy, be cool.
All right,
Take
buddy.
care of yourself. All right, buddy. Just keep playing the.
Definitely.
Hey, since you play the guitar, you'd hate me right now because I'm in my office, but in my storage room here, I've got about 50 guitars autographed.
Oh, nice.
Everybody from Alice Cooper to Melissa Etheridge to the
Oh,
to
that's
to the
awesome.
Cool in the Gang.
That's so
I've been
awesome.
very fortunate running casino resorts with concert venues that
Oh,
I've
and
seen a
Alice
lot of
probably
people,
played
and
there, yeah.
Steve Tyler, Aerosmith, I had him sign, a microphone, Alan
Oh,
Jackson.
nice. Nice.
So you'd hate me if you went in there. What's even more embarrassing, Rocky, is they're all in boxes.
Oh,
So
oh,
I've been
really?
there. So I'm like, I did it because I get to meet them all. I'm cutting the contract and the check.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I walk in with a guitar. I mean, Willie Nelson. I mean, how cool is that?
Oh my God, you actually hung out with Willie?
I didn't hang out with him. I went
Oh,
backstage,
okay.
introduced myself because I had run the
Okay.
place and asked him take photo and of course signed my guitar. And you know,
Wow.
I will say the one person that was didn't sign anything. However, Alan Jackson said, "No, I don't meet and greet." This is 4 years ago probably,
Hmm.
but they said, hey, it's the chief operating officer, general manager, and he wants to bring his 84-year-old mother, who's a number one fan, like, and he says, all right, bring him out to my bus. The
Okay.
man was, he's like me. I'm 6'3", 6'4". He's 6'4", 6'5", with his
Yeah.
boots on. So polite to my mom, which was most importantly, that was nice for him to do that. Took photos of me, signed a guitar for
Oh,
me,
wow.
which he normally doesn't. And even on stage, he had the niceness to say, I'd like to like to reach out and say to, Miss Judstrup, Louise, I'd like to say happy birthday. So, I
Oh my
mean, what a
God,
class
that's so
act in the
awesome.
same sense. What a role model to be as big as he is and
Yeah.
still be on stage and send a shout out to Louise, 84 years old, for her birthday.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
I pride that. And, I've got some people that have passed away, unfortunately. Davy Jones performed for me from the Monkees. Eddie Money,
Oh
unfortunately, has
yeah,
passed
yeah.
away. Debbie Reynolds, unfortunately, has passed away. She signed a microphone, but I don't know what to do with them now because I kind of got out of control. I probably
Yeah.
got maybe 50, 55, maybe 10 microphones. I
Damn.
don't know what to do now. They're just in that room.
And just
So,
in the room in the boxes, right?
but I wanted to rub that in because you play guitar and you like guitars,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
here I'm a nobody. You got guitars on your hat, and I'm just an army guy. And here we go. Whoops. So look, Rocky, thank you for allowing me to be part of the RC Skelter. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
What does Gruemonkey stand for? When you say Gruemonkey, what does that mean?
Well, is supposed to be like, horror, gruesome.
Oh, gruesome. Okay,
Gruesome. That's why
Grue.
it's spelled like Grue.
Grue,
And
yeah.
our mascot is a monkey with he wears a mask and has
Got
like
it.
these
Okay.
these red
Okay,
eyes.
so so this is, you can cut anytime you want, but what is your podcast called?
Oh, well, this is all part of the site. Like the podcast is called Gru Room. It's like Rume.
So what's the RC Skelter?
Oh, that's just my name because my name RC and I
All
did
right.
wrestling and
So
my character
Gruemonkey,
name.
okay. All right, just let me take a pause here because you're recording and then you can edit this, okay? You ready?
Okay.
Hey everybody, it's CJ Graham, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, part 6. You're listening to RC Skelter here with Gruemonkey. Rock on.
Oh man, thank you for that.
So now you have an opening line for your show, okay, buddy?
Yeah,
Is that okay? You
exactly.
want anything different?
No, that's perfect.
Hey, we're pros, buddy. We're pros.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate this.
My pleasure. Hey, good luck with anything. I wish you much success. You just don't know, partner. Keep pushing, and in 30 years, you never know. It could be your time. In 2 years, it could take 30. But best of wishes. All right.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate that a
Peace.
lot.
Bye bye.
Peace. Have have a good night.
All right, buddy.